Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your bro, hope you're doing well, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate the WebView node in JavaFX, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Alright, welcome back. We're discussing web views today. A web view is a node that displays the contents of a web engine, meaning that we can display a web page within our web view. Web views are found underneath the controls drop-down menu. Just drag and drop it, place it anywhere within your pane. I'll give this web view a unique ID of web view. Let's also add a button, sort of like a load button, like load web page. So place it anywhere, not in front of your web view though. I'll change the text to maybe a load. Then let's go to code on action, load page. So we will declare this method later of load page. Let's create a text field so that we can enter in a website URL. So let's drag and drop it. I'll expand it a little bit. I'll give this text field a unique ID of text field on action load page. So let's make sure that we add our controller class. Let's save and then head to our controller class. Also be sure to refresh your fxml document. Then within our controller class, we will implement the initializable interface. Then add any unimplemented methods. And we'll need to declare a few things using fxml injection. So at fxml, we need our web view, private web view, web view. And our text field at fxml, private text field, text field. We need a web engine as well. The web view is in charge of displaying the contents of a web engine. So private web engine, and let's just call this engine. Okay, within our initialize method, we're going to instantiate an engine using the getEngine method of WebView. So engine equals WebView.getEngine. Now, before we can test this program and run it, we need to declare our load page method. So let's take care of that after our initialize method. Public void load page. And at the end of our initialize method, let's call the load page method. If we were to compile and run this program, this may not work, and here's the reason why. So let's take a look at this error. Illegal access error, blah, 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 web. So this means that we need to add a virtual machine argument. We can do so by going to run configurations, click on your project, arguments. Underneath VM arguments, we are going to add this VM argument. Add modules javafx.web. Apply, then run. So currently we just have an empty web view, a button, and a text field. So let's load a web page of our choosing. Within our load page method, let's use the load method of our engine. And we need to pass in a string. This will be a string representation of a URL. How about we go to Google? So type in http://www.google.com. And let's try it. Alright, we are at Google. Nice. So we didn't have to type in anything for our text field or use the load button. That's because we immediately loaded this web page after we used the initialize method. Now let's change this a little bit. I'll keep this line of code in as a reference, but turn it into a comment. Let's say we would like to get the text from our text field. So let's edit this portion out. Plus text field dot get text. So immediately this isn't going to bring us anywhere. But then we can type in a URL. Okay, let's head to maybe, what about Facebook? Facebook.com. We can either hit enter or click this load button. And we are on Facebook. Cool, let's try a different website. What about Twitter? www.twitter.com. That's a good sign. We are on Twitter. Cool, so we know that it's working. Now let's set a home page. There's a bunch of different ways in which we could do that, but using only what we know, we could write something like this. Let's create a variable named homepage. This will be a string. String home page. We could initialize it here or within our initialize method. So let's say homepage equals maybe Google. www.google.com. And let's set the text of our text field. Text field dot set text. And we will set this to homepage. Remember, we don't have to type in HTTP because we're adding that when we use the load method of our engine. Okay, let's try it. So we should immediately be brought to Google. Nice. So remember, there's a bunch of different ways in which we could create a homepage, but we're only using what we know so far. Let's add some more functionality. What about a refresh button to refresh our current page that we're on? So let's declare an additional method, public void refresh page. Then to refresh a page, type engine.reload. We'll need to create an additional button too, so let's head to Scene Builder. Within Scene Builder, let's add an additional button next to our load button. Let's change the text to refresh. Then within our code section, on action, refresh page. Make sure that your controller class is linked, save, then head back to our controller. Update your fxml document or reload it. Then let's run this. Currently we're on Google. Let's type something. Bro code is the best. And I should be able to refresh this page. Yep, and it's refreshed. Nice. Let's zoom in and out of our web view. We'll need two additional methods. Public void zoom in and public void zoom out. Now to zoom in or out of a web view, you type WebView.setZoom. And remember that our web view is in charge of displaying the contents of a web engine. Now to zoom in, you have to set a number above 1. For the time being, let's say 1.25. Zoom out, let's set to 0.75. So a number below 1. Okay, now we need two additional buttons. Let's head back to Scene Builder again. We'll need a zoom in and a zoom out button. Zoom in, what about just plus? Then within the code section, on action, zoom in. And we'll need another button. Maybe just minus. On action, zoom out. Okay, let's save. Then head back to our controller. And let me make that a little bit bigger. There. Alright, after refreshing my fxml document, I'm going to run this. We should be brought to Google right away. Then I can zoom in or out. Zoom in, zoom out. Now that we know that our set zoom method is working, let's expand the range in which we can zoom in or out. Currently, we only have 1.25 and 0.75. Let's create a variable outside of our initialize method. Private double web zoom. And I will assign a value within my initialize method. Web zoom equals 1. 1 for 100%. Then after we zoom in, let's increment zoom by maybe 0.25 or some other amount that you prefer. And I will set zoom with web zoom. Then when we zoom out, we will decrement web zoom. And then set zoom with web zoom. Let's try it. So we can zoom in or we can zoom out. Nice. Let's get the history of our web engine object so that we can display what pages that we visited at which time. We'll need to declare a web history object. Private web history. I will name this history. We'll need an additional method as well. Public void display history. Within our display history method, we will assign our history object with engine.getHistory. We'll need to declare an observable list. This is a type of collection that we did not discuss yet. Observable list, and list a generic type of web history dot entry. We will name this observable list entries equals history.get entries. Then we'll need to iterate over our observable list. We can use a for each loop for that. For web history dot entry in entries, we will system.out.println each entry. Now we'll need to invoke this method some way, so let's create an additional button within our scene. So within Scene Builder, let's drag and drop a button for maybe browser history, or I'll just say history for short. History on action display history. Okay, let's save, then head back. Let's refresh our fxml document, then run and test this. Okay, our first website is Google. Let's try maybe Facebook next. Then what about Twitter? Then click history to get our current engine history. So here's our history. It's a little difficult to read though. That's what happens when you display the entry directly. So let's format this a little bit. Let's get the URL of each entry. I'll place this within a println statement. Entry.getURL. Then you can also get the last visited date too. I'll just add a space between these. Plus entry.getLastVisitedDate. Let's try this again. So we have Google. Then let's try Twitter next. Then Facebook. Then get our history. So this is a little bit more readable. You can always use a printf statement too if you want to format this. But we have our URL as well as the date that we last visited this site. There's quite a bit that we can do with this history object. Let's create two buttons, a move back button and move forward button, so that we can visit a recently visited page. So let's head to Scene Builder and add two additional buttons. Let's add a back button. I'll change the text to back. On action, we'll create a back method. Then a forward button. Forward. On action, forward. Okay, let's save. Head back to our controller. Okay, we'll need to declare those methods of back and forward. Public void back. Public void forward. From our display history method, copy these two lines of code. History equals engine.getHistory, as well as the line where we create our observable list named entries. So paste these two lines within both back and forward. Now to move back through our history to visit a recently visited page, type the name of your history object, .go, and pass in -1 as an argument. To move forward, all you have to do is pass in +1. And let's run it. Our first web page is Google. Let's go to Facebook next. Then Twitter. Okay, so remember the order is Google, Facebook, Twitter. So let's move back to Facebook, then back to Google. Now let's move forward, Facebook, then Twitter. So our next project is to change the text field. Currently, this will be stuck on Twitter. So we'll change that after hitting the back or forward button, and we can use the get URL of our entry to do that. To get the current URL of the web page that we're on, we would type something like this. So we need to set the text of our text field. Text field.setText will pass in a string. The string will be entries.get. We'll pass in an index. The index is history.getCurrentIndex. Then follow this with .getURL. So copy and paste this for our forward method as well. So let's fill up our history. Currently we're on Google. Let's go to Facebook next. Then Twitter. Okay, as we move back through our history, pay attention to our text field, our URL. So we're back to Facebook, then back to Google, then back to Facebook, then to Twitter. So if you prefer, you can also create a substring to format this. That might be overkill for this video, but that's always an option too. One of the last things that I'll show you in this video is how we can execute some JavaScript code within our controller. So let's add a button to execute JavaScript, and we'll write some JavaScript code within our Java file. So the text, let's change to execute.js. Then on action, we'll create a execute.js method. Okay, let's save, then head back. Then we need to declare our execute.js method, public void execute.js. I'm assuming that we don't know any JavaScript. That's fine. I'll teach you all just one line of code of JavaScript. So to execute some JavaScript code, type engine.execute.js and pass in some JavaScript code as a string. One line of code that we can write in JavaScript is to change our window location. So remember that we need to pass this in as a string. So within double quotes, window.location equals, and I need to use the escape sequence to literally print a double quote, equals, let's head to maybe YouTube. So https://www.youtube.com. Then escape sequence for a double quote, semicolon. All right, let's run this. So after clicking this execute.js button, this will execute some line of JavaScript code for us, which will redirect us to YouTube, which it has. Now you may also want to change the text of your text field to match the website that you're on. I don't really think it's necessary for this video demonstration, but that's another thing to consider. By the way, speaking of JavaScript, here's a shameless plug to my free JavaScript course. If you're interested in learning more about web development, feel free to check it out. Or not. Well, alright then everybody, that is the basics of the WebView node in JavaFX. It displays the contents of a web engine. If you would like a copy of all this code, I will post this to the comment section down below. But yeah, that's the basics of the WebView node in JavaFX.